They had at that time, they took and drove, the Germans drove tunnels back into the mountains. And this is where they assembled these buzz bulbs. These buzz bulbs were constructed and put together and loaded and everything else by slave labor. And it was called, the town near there was Nordhausen. I always considered it Nordhausen, but it's got another name. But the slave labor worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week on 300 calories a day. Now you guys can imagine what 300 calories a day would be working slave labor. When we liberated Nordhausen, they estimated 1,500 people were dead, laying around, piled up here, getting ready to be cremated. They considered 1,500 more that were dying that maybe could be saved or maybe could not be saved. They estimated to 2,000 that came in late enough that they could be saved. So yes, I was involved. It's you can't imagine, you children, I shouldn't call you children, that's not the right word.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Young ladies and gentlemen, but you can't imagine, you just can't imagine what went on. We was in Bitterfeld, Germany, after the war was over in Europe. We had our chow line outside of the building where we was at. And our company had this building. And we'd run, well, the children would come up and they'd sit on the street, across the street on the curb, and wait for us to get through eating. And this went on. First it started out, there was only 2 or 3, then it was 5, but it ended up about 30 or 40 of them, to make a long story short. But one of the little children, she could speak perfect English. She come up to the cook, and he says, what can you do? What do you do with all this that you have left over? And the cook says, well, he said, what we have left over, if we can't use it, we throw it away. Well, the little girl said, could we have what you throw away? He says, sure. Well, the children at that time over there you've seen a gallon paint bucket with a little handle on it. Only they had little buckets about the same size. And so these children would come up and go through the line after we get through. And the stuff that he's going to throw away, he would put in those children's pails. They would take it back to their orphanage, which was just 2 blocks away. And so of course, after the war ended, these people started streaking across because they didn't want to stay with the Russians, because the Russians wasn't quite as easy on us as we were. This older gentleman, he was a Frenchman, he come over and he walked up to me and he said, oh, I see you've got cake today in your chow line. I said, no sir, we don't have cake. I said, that's not cake. Yes it is, right down at the end of the line, there's cake. And I said, no, that's white bread. He looked at me, tears rolling down his cheeks, and he said, you know, that's the first white bread I've seen in 5 years. I took him down to the bread. I took 2 slices and I give it to him. Now he was still in these the uniforms that they wore, that the people wore then, prisoners wore then. It had a little pocket up like it is about right here. He took that one slice of bread and he put it up here. He took the other slice of bread, snapped off a little piece, like this, and then you snap off another little piece. Thank you, sir. It's sad, but it's true.